right. Welcome to the session on angel investor activity related to tax credits. This is going to be a pretty fun session. We're going to get to play a game. But before we get started, I need to introduce some facilitators, and I'm going to ask for groups to be formed at the table because we are going to be playing a game. So I'm going to ask you to put down your phones. This is interactive. Yes, Aaron, I see you shaking your head. But
hey, don't talk to my LP like that.
Sorry. So break off into tables of 4 to 6 people if we can. Consolidate, break up, make it happen. Thank you. But I think let's go down the line and introduce the facilitators.
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Patrick Henshaw, founding managing director of Render Capital. We're an early stage venture fund based on the sunny side of the state in Indiana, Jeffersonville, Indiana. We're generalists. We invest across category, across industry, largely in legacy industries and archaic models. And we're passionate about angel investing because not only am I an angel investor and we have an angel network, but importantly in the capital stack environment, if and how angel deals get done, they tend to grow into venture deals. And so we want to make sure that all the angel deals that get done are good for both the founder and the investor. So then when we follow on in capital with us, we're able to take them to the next level. So thanks for having us.
Hi, I'm Barb Cotillo. I am currently a lecturer at Kelly in Indianapolis here at IU. But in my past life, I was a founder, and in a financial services company that we took public in 2013, and now I'm an angel investor with Vision Tech for the last 8-10 years or so. I've had some great exits, and super excited to tell you all about it today. So it's a great program.
I'm Jason Whitney, the director of investor networks at FinSync, based out of Atlanta, a fintech company that's using AI to help companies plan, perform, and project as they go out to raise capital. And I'm also a partner at Start Something Ventures here in Indianapolis, where we support early stage founders.
Hi, I'm Jacob Spock. I'm a partner and head of platform at Elevate Ventures. We invest at the pre-seed, seed, and Series A stages. What makes us unique is we only invest in companies that are headquartered or have a significant presence here in the state of Indiana. Our largest LP by far is the state of Indiana, so while they're looking for returns, obviously we're also focused on building this ecosystem.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Claire Newman. I serve as the executive director of the Venture Club of Indiana, and we are the network for investors, founders, service professionals to connect here in Indiana and the Midwest as well. We exist to connect capital, so connect the capital of investors with founders, with each other. We do that through monthly events, through our annual event, the Innovation Showcase coming up on Thursday. There should be a QR code on your table to register for that. If you're not already registered, we'd love to have you. And we're excited to present today's angel investing simulation to you. And I will hand it over to Ben to introduce himself.
Thank you. My name is Ben Pigeon. I'm the executive director of Vision Tech Angels. I've been doing that for 9 years. I've probably looked at 3,000 some odd deals. I've had access to maybe 200 plus odd data rooms. I've got some brain damage from leading some rounds, and really excited about sharing some of the knowledge that we have today. So there is a prize for the top score table. So yes, I like that enthusiasm. Let's build on that, right? All right. So who is an angel investor? An angel investor is a high net worth individual that has been successful in their own career. They have been a successful entrepreneur, maybe a specialty doctor, but somebody that wants a front seat at innovation. And they're willing to put capital at risk that helps their companies that they're investing in achieve milestones, and hopefully those milestones are value inflection points that create value for the company, opening up additional capital in the future at a higher valuation. And eventually at some point in that future, the company is acquired, creating a liquidity event, either an IPO or mergers and acquisitions, a lot of different flavors there, but at the end of the day, that liquidity event returns capital to the investor, and then the investor gets to play the game again. That cycle can take 4 to 10 years. The last 3 years have been particularly challenging, but That is who an angel investor is, and they participate in early stage companies for a lot of different reasons. There's a chance at doing outsized returns compared to the rest of the market. There's a chance to create jobs. There's a chance to have a seat at the edge of innovation. So there are different types of tax credits. There's tax credits that encourage the development of new technology, new processes, new products, new software. That's an R&D tax credit. There's a renewable tax energy credit that is the creation or use and investment production of renewable energy sources. There's movie production tax credits. So those bring jobs and investments to local communities. Does anybody know the last major motion picture to be filmed in Indiana was Hoosiers in 1986? So there's not a lot of movie activity here. You may have been thinking it was The Christmas Story, but that was actually filmed in, I think, Cleveland and Ontario, and it came out in 1980. It came out a couple years later. So today we're here to talk about venture capital tax credits. I mentioned we're going to play the simulation game, so put the phones down. I don't see any phones out there. Thank you. Newcomers, we're playing a game, so really appreciate everybody's participation. These facilitators up here are going to help you walk through the calculations. This is oversimplified for the investors in the room, so don't expect a tremendous amount of detail. We are the last meeting before lunch, so I recognize that. So what if a single tax policy could double the number of startups, lower risk for investors, and supercharge job creation? This is the world of tax credits. But why does this need attention? Angel and early stage investors face a tremendously high illiquidity and loss of premium risk, right? So about 50% of these early stage companies are expected to fail and not return dollars. And many promising startups never get funded due to time constraints. Angel investors have competing interests. I've had a commitment back out because they decided to buy a boat. So tax credits can help tip the scale, encouraging investments that would have otherwise been too risky. So this is a game of power law, though. A very few portion of the investments that are made in a portfolio actually return the entire portfolio. So a power law basically is a scenario where 6 to 10% of your portfolio actually returns 70 to 80% of the total portfolio. So very few investments actually play out in return and make it the entire reason why early stage investors participate in this space. So, panelists, you have anything you want to add? No, I'm kind of jumping through this quick.
Yeah, I think one key thing, just because I heard Australia, Africa, Europe, Asia, we're talking about scenarios that are in the U.S. So these are both, not both, there are state, federal, and local tax credits that can assist in some of this stuff. Some states in the U.S. actually give you cash in return for investing in startups. Other states basically give you a coupon on your state income tax as an individual, as a human. So that's what we're here to talk about, really, is not that there is a silver bullet. I think we'll wrap that up at the end. There is no silver bullet in investing. But how does it help you as an angel investor, as an ecosystem builder, as a strategist, think about lowering your risk or increasing your potential for those power law type of returns to happen? Or if those don't happen, how is your downside protected, and how does it keep you in the game or keep you investing in more, in our case, Indiana startups in the future?
Thanks, Patrick.
I'll add one more thing, Ben. On your tables is a one-pager highlighting Indiana's tax credit benefits. And so since we're here in Indiana, we wanted to provide this to you to just lay out. Every state is different and does approach it different, just like Patrick was saying. So we have provided that one-pager for you to just look at and read through at your convenience and as reference.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit more detail. So when there is an investor tax credit, the activity actually increases by about 15.8%. So it's an interesting stat out there, but I think there's some second and third degree notions there that need to be recognized that we're going to pick up at the end of this discussion. So Patrick kind of summarized what a venture capital tax credit is. It's some kind of a cash or a tax reduction in a liability. It's often a percentage of the amount that is invested. And the way that it works in Indiana is it's eligible for individuals or corporations. It's 25% up to $1 million, meaning that the company could actually raise $4 million to use a $1 million tax credit, and 30% for women and minority owned. There's a 5-year carry forward, meaning that if you don't have a tax liability, you have 5 years to create a tax liability, and it is transferable, meaning that you can transact it. You could find a buyer for the tax credit and get a cash return. That means that there's a marketplace. That marketplace returns anywhere from 80 to 90% of the value of the tax credit. And the eligible investments are a SAFE, a convertible note, or preferred equity. The state of Indiana requires you, but I guess let me take a step back. There are authorities that need to create these tax credits. So that could be the State Department of Revenue, an economic development agency like IEDC, Indiana Economic Development Corporation, or some kind of state legislation that creates this tax credits and is an authority on the creation of those tax credits. So the investors must apply for the tax credit and disclose how much they're going to invest into what company. The company has to determine eligibility in the state of Indiana. And then once those are approved, the investment can be completed, proof has to be submitted to IEDC, and the subscription documents on the wire, et cetera. So there are different flavors of tax credits out there. Some really encourage some risk-taking, and some are not as advantageous, and you'll see that in the game that we play. But Patrick mentioned that the state of Maryland actually offers a 33% tax credit that is cash returned to you on the year that you make the investment. Quite an interesting perspective. So, welcome to the Angel Investor Challenge. You're going to get to put yourself in the shoes of an early stage investor. You're going to get $100,000 to deploy into 3 companies, 3 fictitious companies. You're going to get a chance to ask some due diligence questions. And your job is to maximize job creation and returns while mitigating some of this risk. So we're going to discover the roles of tax credits and how they influence investment decisions. We're going to talk a little bit about due diligence. And then we're going to introduce the unpredictability of early stage investing through the simulation of a dice roll. There's trade-offs versus investing in one company versus many. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry about that. All right, so how the game works. You're going to form 4 to 6 teams, or 4 to 6 participants per team. Do you guys want to disperse through the crowd? And the facilitators are going to answer your due diligence questions on the 3 companies. You're going to decide how to allocate $100,000. And then we're going to do an investment feasibility roll. So in the investment feasibility roll, sometimes you make a commitment as an investor and you cover due diligence. You might ask a question that you don't like the answer to, and you might change your decision. In other instances, there's an investment committee that you have to get through, and that requires approval. So you got to make a proposal, and you got to outline what you covered in your due diligence. So you're going to log those results, both the dollar amount that you invest and the investment feasibility roll. And then you're going to log that. You're going to move into the investment outcome roll, which is another simulation. We're going to log that, and then we're going to determine a winner. So we have the scoreboards behind you, the white pages on each side of the room. I think a table should probably write their score down. And for those that don't have a facilitator, I'm going to come down and help out too. We're going to have about 15 minutes to get through this. So our first company is Green Charge Energy. This is a renewable energy company. The market size is $50 billion. Projected revenue is $100 million within 5 years. Job creation potential of 500 plus employees. The founding team is engineers filled with limited business experience, and they have a key risk of complex energy regulations. They do have a tax credit. It's only eligible for individuals. It is non-transferable. There's a 15% incentive, and it's good for 2 years. So you get a bonus on the tax feasibility roll of +2. Meditech AI, we have a healthcare AI that's in the AI diagnostics for early disease detection, $80 billion market, $250 million revenue projection within 5 years, 750 plus job creation, and dependent on FDA and single pilot site. So strong medical advisors, weak in AI engineering from the team basis. There's no tax credit on this one. And all of these sheets are printouts on your table, so you're welcome to use those sheets. You should have some quick Q&A on that. The last one is AgriBoost. This is an ag tech. It's IoT sensors for high efficiency farming. It's a $40 billion market, revenue projection of $150 million within 5 years, 600 plus jobs created. Founding team is proven agronomists and lacks scale strategy. It's a key risk. Market adoption and scalability challenges. If you weren't aware, farmers are extremely risk adverse. They don't like to take new technology on. This is tax credit eligible. It is applicable for individuals and corporates. It is a 25% tax credit on the investment amount. There's a 5-year use on it, and it is transferable. So we get a +5 bonus on that. All right, due diligence questions. So does the company have revenue yet? Why would we be asking that question? This is indicative of product market fit. Fundraising efforts can be offset by organic cash flow. Has the founder successfully exited a company before? That means that management has experience navigating difficult decisions and working with a board. What's the company's burn rate? How much cash does the company go through in a given month in order to operate? A high burn rate means more funding is needed to extend that runway. A lower burn rate extends the runway but may compromise the achievement of some milestones. How strong is the competition in the space? Competition validates the market, but also means that you've got to unseat an incumbent solution provider. Is there reliance on a single key customer? A customer concentration means that there could be a scenario where the CEO had a great relationship with the customer, or the customer found somebody on Google and was seeking a solution and went through a thorough evaluation process. Are there regulatory hurdles? This creates a barrier and requires additional capital to overcome. What's the status of product development? Is the status of the product ready to ship and produce, generate revenue, or is more product development needed? And is that part of the use of funds? What are the market trends? Trends on the market help out determine what the potential is. If the market is growing, that's a good signal that there's more attention and an adoption in this market, meaning a better exit potential. If it's shrinking, it means that there's probably a lower chance of an exit. What's the worst case scenario if the outcome fails? You lose your money. Just a 1x. All right. Trying to advance. All right, we're going to start the time on determining how much you're going to invest, and then you're going to log your numbers on the whiteboards behind you. I'm going to rotate around. I think who does not have a facilitator? Okay, I'm going to get around to you guys. Okay.
10 minutes remaining for your discussion. Five minutes remaining for your group discussion. 2 minutes left in your group discussion.
Okay, we are at time. So we need your final numbers on the scoring pads behind you. And we're going to determine a winner right here. Raise your hand if you can hear me. All right, keep your hands up if you've got your scorecard in. There we go. Table in the back, you got your scores up, right? Yes, okay. Are we missing anybody? You guys haven't? Okay. Okay. I think we need a table representative to stand by their number.
Are you doing the final calculation up there?
Maybe you should come up and facilitate the discussion on the risks of tax credits while I do that. Okay. Yeah. This was extremely fascinating.
It was great. Yeah, super cool.
I don't know. Take away. Okay. All right, I'm going to go around and collect some of the numbers here. And then Patrick is going to lead us through discussion on devil's advocate here.
Great, thanks.
I'm going to riff from there. I might have gone, you can go back a slide.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to fill some time while folks are getting their final numbers in. Let's hear a little poll from the audience. What U.S. people, you're my people, we know you're here. What other countries or nation states do we have represented here? Just shout them out.
Any other countries represented?
I heard Mexico,
Peru.
Brazil, Peru. Where else? I heard an Australia in the back somewhere earlier. There we go. There's our Aussie buddy, not a Kiwi. They're different. Go ahead. Nepal? That's awesome. All right, so who else outside of the U.S., or let me ask this for our U.S. friends. Who in the U.S. has either used, leveraged, and you can't be at IEDC to answer this question, or Aaron, because he knows too much about it. Aside from Ben, who else has leveraged in the U.S. tax credits before in their investment portfolio? Has anybody? We got one over here, maybe? Kind of. So it's an interesting thing, right? One of my very astute LPs, who might or might not be in the room, actually told me if somebody is asking about investing in your fund exclusively for the tax credit, you don't want them as an LP. And a reason for that is just like all of this great discussion, and we'll get into this devil's advocate stuff here in a second, tax credits are not a silver bullet for economic development, right? There is no silver bullet, right? Now, I will say one of the more interesting things that's happened in the U.S. over the last decade or so, Ben mentioned this earlier, is this transferability of these tax credits. So a great benefit for the state of Indiana is the fact that somebody can live in Ohio or Michigan or Massachusetts or wherever else, invest in an Indiana company. That means economic development is happening in the state of Indiana, and they can sell that tax credit to a Hoosier. So it's lowering the barriers to get other capital from other states into the market, right? And that's another key point. You know, Ben mentioned this earlier. Am I done filling time? Ben mentioned this earlier, and then I'll turn it back over to him. I think the importance of the free market is the fact that we're making the free market free, right? And so how do we unlock more capital? How do we educate more investors? So thank you guys for being here. I'll turn it back over to Ben.
Thanks, Patrick. So the way this game was built, there was a distribution. The majority of the companies failed, and that was intentional, right? Because in early stage investing, 50% of these companies usually fail. So if the investment feasibility roll was under 12, you got a 0. You could have still made the investment, though. The tax credit feasibility roll, if it was 10 or better, you got to make the investment. You made it through due diligence. You achieved enough conviction to make the decision to go forward. But there were adjustments. One company had a tax credit of a +2, so meaning that you could roll an 8 and you would still make the investment. There was a +5, meaning that if you rolled a 5, you would still make the investment. So I found it really interesting in the discussions that were happening around the table, the amount of hand wringing that everybody was going through with fake money. And that is exactly what an early stage investor goes through. They're constantly battling with loss aversion, confirmation bias, information availability. And in the end of the day, you've got imperfect information that you need to continue to develop conviction on. And you have to be willing to look into the future on what's possible. Due diligence is the process of determining if this is a fantasy that you want to believe in. Okay? So there are downsides to tax credits. Oh, and I need to announce the winners. We got about 2 minutes to get through this. So I'm going to throw these up there. Is it transferable? Are we subsidizing emotionally driven, low disciplined capital? Good companies are still going to get funded no matter what. When you juice the volume, does it dilute quality? And what happens when the training wheels come off? Would you deploy capital differently if somebody else is taking the 30% risk? And if high quality startups are already attracting capital, tax credits won't help them. Is job creation from weak firms a win or a temporary distortion? So these are all difficult questions, but yet we still invest in companies because we believe. We want a front-seated innovation. Ways to improve tax credits. Getting rid of the emotional investing. A lot of early-stage investors could benefit from looking at more deals, saying no more often, and developing a thorough playbook on due diligence. Early collapse risk could be mitigated by milestone-based credits. A weak market fit. A lot of this plays out with how you get advice from the board and leverage experience. And using smart goal setting. So Launchpad Boston experiences a 20% better return when they have an active role in the company. Central Texas Angel Network receives, on average, a 9.5x better average return than when they don't get involved with the company. When they don't get involved, it's about a 1.4x. So involvement from angel investors can really dictate success. All right, so the winner. We had kicked around the idea of doing a toilet bowl winner, but we're not going to do that, the lowest score, so don't worry about that. But the highest score in the room was a $5,800,000 return to the back table back there, so congratulations. Thank you for playing our angel investor tax credit game. Super fun to see this, and I look forward to engaging with you throughout. I'm happy to do questions, but I think we're out of time. Who came in second? Oh, I didn't go to second. I think the second highest score might have been $4 million. So over here. So we got first and second. Thank you guys. Super fun. Thank you for playing with fake money.